and everybody watching and having tacos and telomeres and toddies and telomeres and whatever you're doing with telomeres, good for you, because this is award-winning Nobel Prize research that you're about to know about, to learn about, and it puts you in a classification by yourself, because you know what? 99% of the world does not know what you're about to learn about right now from Dave MacArthur. He's done it thousands of times. He's one of the best trainers in the world on this subject, no question, on any subject, but this one specifically. And I am wearing a shirt that says simplicity has never tasted so good, and it's never been so profound. Dave MacArthur, I'm so excited about tonight. Bring it, brother.
All right, let's bring it, you guys. Thank you. Thank you, Lenny. It's been fantastic. Been an incredible journey, locking arms with you for the last 14 years. So let me jump into this, you guys. And like Lenny was just saying, isn't it Leonardo da Vinci that says the ultimate sophistication is simplicity? Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. And that's what we have right here. And it's so simple, yet it's so profound. And we're going to go into the science here. And we really are pioneering some things that have never happened before. Not hype, that's just where we're at. You know, technology has gotten us to a place where we've discovered some things, and Isogenics is leading the way with this product right here for sure. So I'm excited to be able to share that with you. And so here we go. Back in 2009, I was introduced to Dr. Bill Andrews. William Andrews goes by Bill. He's a molecular geneticist. And he came up with the motto, I'm going to cure aging or die trying, right? What a motto. I mean, what a life pursuit, right? Talk about thinking big. And he understood the power of the human anatomy and its ability to heal itself. He knew it much more profoundly than we do. And it has everything to do with the telomere. And I was introduced to that word in 2009, being introduced to Bill Andrews, the word telomere. I'd never heard of it before. And Bill Andrews had me at hello, and I have not stopped talking about it ever since. That was in 2009. And I'm just as excited, if not more excited, than I've ever been. The telomere is the cap on the ends of the chromosomes. So Bill Andrews refers to the plastic tip on a shoestring. And he talks about, you know, he asks the question, what's the role of that plastic tip? What does it do? What's its purpose? And people will say, well, it holds the shoestring together so it doesn't fray. And he says, exactly. He says, essentially, that's what the telomere is doing for the DNA. So if you look at this chromosome down here, it's kind of being stretched and pulled apart like a slinky. This is your DNA, these little steps in that winding ladder. And that, if you liken the DNA to like software in a computer, it'll be so much easier to understand the profoundness that DNA plays in our lives and these telomeres. So each one of these steps contains their own bits of information. And they're in every cell. Every cell has a nucleus. The nucleus contains its own chromosomes. Within the chromosome is the DNA. The DNA, these little steps, each one owns its own information. And the telomere holds that DNA together right here. That's called a nucleic bond. And so the telomere is holding that bond together. It doesn't hold itself. And what's happening is the telomere is degenerating. It's suppressed. It's, you know, its ability to heal itself isn't working. And this is what Bill Andrews wanted to identify, like, why isn't it working? Because he knew that there is an innate ability for the telomere to repair this damage that's being done, but it's not. Not only is it not repairing, we're shortening the telomere faster than we ever have. It's called accelerated telomere shortening. And what happens is, as this telomere starts to degenerate, there's a domino effect. These nucleic bonds start to separate. That would be like losing software in a computer. And it does it so incrementally. But as it slowly is shortening and degenerating, and we can speed it up, things like drinking alcohol, smoking cigarettes, being exposed to different kinds of chemicals and toxicity, like asbestos. They say asbestos causes cancer. It doesn't cause cancer. It shortens your telomeres faster, and then you're losing the information, the software that causes the cells to malfunction, and then they label that malfunction with a name. And it's overall with a blanket as cancer. But there's all different kinds of cancers, right? And it's all different kinds of places in the body. If you're smoking, we know that through Bill Andrews, that smoking accelerates the telomere shortening. So where is those chemicals concentrated? Pretty much in the throat and neck and lung area, right? So if you're throwing chemicals in that area at those cells and those telomeres in those cells, and you're shortening them faster, then you're going to develop problems in that specific area, smoking every day, day after day, right? Month after month. So then you'll be labeled with things like COPD, lung cancer, emphysema. So cigarettes don't necessarily cause cancer. They shorten your telomeres faster, which then causes a malfunction. So as they get shorter and shorter, you can see we have more fraying going on. Well, that would be more of these nucleic bonds breaking their bond, and again, like losing software. So what's going to happen to the cell that those chromosomes are in, where they're losing that much software? They're going to malfunction. Every degenerative issue, every symptom of aging and age-related issues, and every degenerative disease is linked to that process. And eventually the telomere will get short enough that the cell will shut down, just like a computer when it loses too much software. The computer crashes. You can't even turn it on. Same thing with the cell when it reaches senescence, death of the cell. So when it reaches a certain length, that cell can't function anymore. And so you'll die of a degenerative disease at that point. Now, if it's in an organ that you reach senescence in that isn't necessarily keeping you alive, like let's say your eyes, you would be blind. You wouldn't have degenerative issues like macular degeneration or something like that. You would be blind. Your eyes would not work because you've reached senescence. But if it was in your cardiovascular system that some cells were reaching senescence, you would die because your cardiovascular system keeps you alive, right? So a lot of different factors that cause the accelerated telomere shortening. The biggest one, so in an article from the Surgeon General, the Surgeon General said it's the first generation of children that will not live as long as their parents. The lifespan is shorter now. Now I'm going to put 2 and 2 together for you because the Surgeon General did not mention telomeres, but that's a telomere issue. Pre-teenagers, this is on the front page of USA Today, April 2012. Their telomeres are 10 years shorter than they used to be because of the telomere shortening. So if they're accelerating their telomere shortening faster than their parents did, they're going to die at a younger age because they're going to reach senescence sooner. So that's why the lifespan's getting shorter. What do I think is the biggest contributor from all the things I've learned and observed? Processed food. Bill Andrews says, look, the preservatives and the trans fats that they put into processed food contain chemicals that shorten your telomeres faster. And a lot of people are eating a lot of processed food. In fact, there's some studies that are showing that that's all that some people are eating is just all processed food. You know, Taco Bell, they have trans fats, you know, all of the fast food, McDonald's, and then of course your flaming hot Cheetos, your regular Cheetos, your Pringles, your Doritos, you know, all of that stuff that's packaged up and preserved. So not a good deal, right? And that's why babies now are having issues because their telomeres are actually being shortened in the womb, because it's being passed on through the umbilical cord, the chemicals that shorten the telomeres faster. They find up to 300 chemicals every single time they inspect newborn babies' blood. Well, some of those chemicals shorten telomeres faster. Babies are being born with type 2 diabetes. Pre-teenagers have osteoporosis, right? So not a good deal. We've made a science out of killing ourselves. And they didn't know about telomeres like we do now back when they invented processed food. So it's not like they tried to do that, just inadvertently they did it. Kind of like asbestos in brake shoes. You know, they found out later, oh, that causes cancer. Let's take it out of the brake shoes. So some important factors that we can learn here. Now, all of this is Nobel Prize winning research that I just shared with you. In 2009, most people don't even know they have a telomere. I didn't learn about it till 2009. I asked people, you know, go over to your next door neighbor, knock on the door and say, hey, do you know what a telomere is? They're going to be like, what? A Teletubby? No, not a Teletubby, a telomere. Ask your healthcare professional, your medical professional. Most of the time they respond with, what's a telomere? And I've lectured to doctors and pharmacists and chiropractors and, you know, the surgeons, and most of them do not know what a telomere is, you guys. So you're going to know more, like Lenny said, about telomeres and what's really going on. This whole nucleic bond, that puts you ahead of pretty much 99% of everybody on the planet, knowing that that's separating because the telomere is shortening. Now, Bill Andrews has been on a mission his whole life. Bill Andrews is a molecular geneticist, and he mentored me. And like I said, when I heard from Bill, he had me at hello. And the more I learned, the more I realized this is onto something. And so Bill was featured in Popular Science for some contribution to this industry, or to this research. I would say he is the world's leading researcher on this. Very humble guy. He might hem and haw about that, but I'll say, no, you are. You're going to agree. In my very humble but accurate opinion, you are the world's leading researcher with this. Many of us believe the body can heal itself, right? Bill knew that this should be healing itself because there's a gene in every chromosome, in every cell that produces this enzyme. Although it's not producing it, it's being suppressed. He identified that gene on a molecular level in 1994. And after that, he could start to work with it. And they invented procedures in his lab where they could unsuppress it, and it started to produce this enzyme. And they did it with human skin cells. And what happened when this telomerase was activated? The skin cells repaired the damage just like he believed it would. And there was a lot of naysayers. A lot of people said, you're going down the wrong rabbit hole. They were, they didn't believe, what his, they didn't agree with him. And he did it. And he got Inventor of the Year, runner-up. It was a very controlled environment. They didn't really know what that meant, but Bill did. And they started theorizing, look, if you're 80 years old and you have all of these issues, and we know that it's a telomere issue because of the damage to the, let me go back to right here, because of the damaged DNA. And when they reversed that damage in the human skin cells, they said, if we could do that in somebody who's 80 years old with all of their challenges that they may have, and we could restore all of the DNA back just like this, they should go back to their mid-20s physiologically, operating at 100%. Well, that theory wasn't too far off. They actually proved that that was the case. But back then, it was just based on what they did with the human skin cells. So he's being featured in Popular Science as the man who would stop time because of what Harvard did, piggybacking off of Bill's research and what they published. So this is me and Bill here. That's about 8 years ago. I feel much younger. I look much younger. And, but we did a little video here to help me get into the healthcare professionals. And he was the credibility. And he endorsed what I had to say. I learned from him, and I put it together in a presentation. And he said, that's the best presentation I've ever seen, Dave, to take something really complicated and make it easy to understand. And I've done over 5,000 presentations now, over 3,000 live in front of audiences. And I don't see any finish line for this. We're just getting started. So what Harvard did is they piggybacked off of Bill's research, and they did in mice what he did in the human skin cells. And this is why it was given the Nobel Prize. When they activated this enzyme, telomerase, in the mice, living, breathing mammals, which is what all of us are, right? We're living, breathing mammals. They saw those nucleic bonds in the cells of the living mice reestablish their connection. So Bill did it in a petri dish in a controlled environment with human skin cells. They did it with living, breathing mammals. And they could see these nucleic bonds reestablishing their connection. That's the first time they learned that the body was capable of reversing the damage that was done. And what happened with the mice? Exactly what they had theorized with the 80-year-old. It happened with the mice. They became younger physiologically. Why? Because their telomeres were the length of a younger mouse. So they saw the correlation that the telomere played and how the telomerase could activate that. And so this research was given the Nobel Prize. Everything reversed in the mice. Their bones, all of their organs, and the challenges that they had developed through their organs not operating, even the brain. In ABC News, they reported that they had lost 25% of their ability to recall memory and reasoning ability. And that was all restored. Their cardiovascular system, they started bounding around like young mice. They looked like young mice. And what they saw was the nucleic bonds reestablish the connections. And that was why. So kind of like a computer, when it's just about to crash and it's just causing all kinds of havoc, and you take it into the computer guy and he restores the software, it just course corrects. The computer works, 100% optimally. That's what they saw with the mice. So no wonder it was given the Nobel Prize. It showed what the possibilities were for us as humans. So Bill Andrews and his research team, while Harvard was doing that, they never stopped doing what they were doing, right? And they had tested over 304,000 compounds by 2009. So remember, they started in 1994. By 2009, they had tested over 304,000 compounds, natural ingredients, a holistic approach, botanicals, pharmaceuticals, chemicals that they made in their own lab. And they tested them one at a time into the chromosome, into that gene. And then they would see if it would unsuppress it and if it would start producing the telomerase. Out of 304,000, they found 8, but they were all from toxic chemicals that could not be consumed by humans. So they actually got the skin cells to repair, but with compounds that we couldn't utilize. So enter the scene, John Anderson. Peter Greenlaw was very vigilant in getting these two guys together. John Anderson's, I say he's the leading foremost expert when it comes to formulating with nutrition that's alive today. He formulated for over 600 companies. The guy's a genius. The things that he's come up with and what he does with plants, I call him the plant whisperer. And he's formulated over 2,500 different health products, nutritional products, GNC, Metarex, Nature's Way, Nature's Sunshine, Joe Weider. You know, when Tony Escobar worked with John Anderson at the expos, Joe Weider would come up and say, "Where's John? I need to talk to John." Bill wandered down an expo of botanicals that they went to together, and Bill said everybody reverenced. They would come out from, as they were walking down the aisle, everybody would come out from behind their booths and just basically reverence and honor John Anderson because of who he is and what he's done. Now, he decided he's going to start his own company called Isogenics back in 2002, along with the help of Jim and Kathy and Eric Coover. And why? Because the companies he was hired to formulate for as a private label manufacturer always compromised the products. He says there's not one instance where they didn't. He said, I got some good products to market, but there wasn't one instance where they formulated exactly what I submitted to them. You know, they would break up ingredients, they would get cheaper, less inferior ingredients, they would put in cheap fillers and, you know, just to make bigger profits. And he said it was very frustrating. So he started his own company to overcome that. And he said, I could have people looking different and feeling different in 3 to 5 days, guaranteed. Well, I'm not going to go into all the ways that he formulates because there are some things that I could share with you that would help to instill that into you. Just know he's a genius and that there isn't anybody like John Anderson. So that's why he was introduced to Bill, to see if Peter thought he could overcome this challenge that they're having, this stalemate that they have. And so they were introduced. And John got so excited when he learned this profound role that telomeres and telomerase plays. He said, I had heard of telomeres before, but I didn't know this about them. And this is really groundbreaking technology in science. Like, we just got the Nobel Prize in 2009, and that's when they were being introduced. And so John said, everything that I've learned, everything that I've been inspired and you know, what the way that I formulate, I truly believe it prepared me for this. I believe this is the reason why I was born. And I feel very optimistic. I would have formulated for telomeres a long time ago had I known this. So they wrote up a formal contract and John started sending formulations over to Bill's lab. Now, Bill said we've had up to 40 researchers doing nothing but this, no distractions. They're just trying to support telomeres. And in over a decade, right, 304,000 compounds, John sends 15 over after a few months, and he got an active hit as they tested it. They couldn't believe it. They thought he was extremely lucky, is what Bill said in a documentary. And then he sent another 15 and got another hit. Out of 120, he got 7, 4 of them being major, very effective hits. And what they've been trying to accomplish this whole time, he did in months what they couldn't do in over a decade. They called him a genius. They said, how are you doing that? We tried those ingredients. All they know is that he's deriving something from ingredients they already tried. They don't know what he's deriving from them. His extracts are different than everybody's. And then the way he symbiotically puts things together from different botanicals, different extracts, and then getting them delivered into the cell. That's not an easy accomplishment. Your cell doesn't just automatically receive good nutrition. It has to be masked in a certain way so that it gets received by the cell. And John knows how to do that proprietarily. So this is, you know, this combination of these two geniuses come together has resulted in this. And John said it's the greatest discovery of our time. And Peter Greenlaw said, no, it's the greatest discovery of all time, John. And I agree with that. The results that we're getting are Nobel Prize worthy. In fact, I mentioned that to Bill, and he said, I believe we'll get the Nobel Prize for the impact that this is having on humanity. After it had been released, he said, it's a phenomenon. I've never seen anything like it. We're getting all different kinds of results from so many people. It's not like it just helps this or it helps that. It's supporting every cell nutritionally to function on a level that it never has before because of these two minds coming together. This is the most important information and the most important conversation that we could be talking about right now. Your health is your number one asset, no question. And this is supporting our health nutritionally in a way that nothing ever has. So there's 2 things that you're learning if you're here for the first time, that there's a certain part of the human anatomy called telomeres and telomerase is involved with that. And it's the very foundation of every cell, uniquely to every cell and the challenge that each cell is being faced with. And then there's now a nutritional asset. to be able to support that part of the human anatomy. These little lids you see right here, these are little vials. When I went to Bill's lab a couple months ago, that's Bill, myself, and then this is Lancer. And Bill said, make sure to give Lancer some credit. I mean, he's really the guy that invented the procedures that allow us to be the only lab in the world to do this. And I said, okay, Lancer Brown will now start getting recognized along with Bill Andrews. And they were testing these currently while I was there. There's hundreds of these little vials. And they found more effective hits. A hit means that it's supporting the telomere in the way that they've been trying to. And they found a major one. John Anderson sent me a picture of the little vial, and he says, this is the most exciting hit out of everything inside the entire bottle. And we're on 4th generation right now. This is 4th gen, and I call it Isa-G. It's a very easy bottle to open. My granddaughter opened it right here at 18 months old in my office and spilled them all on the floor. I immediately began to gather them up. So that's just to show you that it's safe. An 18-month-old can open it. What else can I say about it? There's 120 pills in there, and you take 2 in the morning and 2 at night. And that's it, 2 in the morning, 2 at night. And combining that with the world's greatest food source, it's so nutritionally dense, you couldn't make a food source. I don't care where you shopped, and even if you grew your own food, there's no way you could pack as much nutrition in a meal as John did in this. The mind that made this is the same mind that made this. And this changed my life back in 2005. My grandkids are here from Kenya right now. We're going to Disneyland tomorrow, and the whole family is going to be there. So they've had 3 shakes today. 3 shakes. These little grandkids. They asked me while I was making one, oh, shake. They heard the blender, and so I made them a shake. Let's see what else. So Bill Andrews is still the only lab in the world that can do this. And he said this before, but he just reiterated it recently in an interview with Dr. Johnson. We don't work with any other formulators. There's nobody in the realm of John Anderson. It would be a waste of our time to just sift through other stuff that people are sending us. We've just learned there's nobody that is as intelligent when it comes to working with natural ingredients as John. What a great credit. But really, it's the genius of both of them, right? All right, so it's a nutritional product, and we can't make any claims, and we won't make any claims around curing any illnesses or diseases. They could shut us down, and you could be fined for saying, hey, this cures, this, that, and the other. So we don't say that. We're just supporting the body nutritionally. And Hippocrates, which is what the Hippocratic Oath is, all about, with the medical community, said, let your food be your medicine, right? Let your food be your medicine. And when you get it right, then your body will get it right. If you mess up the food, like creating flaming hot Cheetos and Frosted Flakes and these things that are actually destroying the body, then your food's not going to be your medicine. Your food's going to be the problem. So the choices that we make and the education that we get makes a big difference. And that's why I love doing this as well. But being a nutritional supplement, we're not going to make any claims around curing anything. But let's show some pictures here. These are fantastic. This is Dick Sauder. Amy came to a presentation, who's his daughter-in-law, at a dentist office that I did in Wisconsin. And the first person she thought about, I'm sure you're thinking about people, right, that are coming to mind. He's 82 years old right here, and they're thinking nursing home, or somebody's got to start taking care of him because he just wasn't functioning optimally. And so he's 82 here, got started on the products 83 here, 87 right here, 87. And he just turned 89, and I have a picture of him going down a slide at the park with his hands in the air. At 89 years old, he's thinking about getting married again. He works out, he drives, he's a very funny guy, he's very witty. At 89 years old on Facebook live video, he said, I'm going to do 89 push-ups for my 89th birthday. And he did 107. We were just with him in Tennessee. He dropped down and did push-ups again. He did it last year as well. The body's the miracle here, and we're now starting to learn really what the body's capable of. Jill, who was just on our last Zoom that we just did an hour ago, we had her say a few words, but this is 2011. This is 2019, 60 years old. And she's working out 6 days a week. She owns a gym, one of our top income earners. And she loves this. 22 friends started on these today, these little life givers. And just some amazing results that she's gotten, not just with looking more youthful, but she even had an accident with her hand, and she sent me the pictures, and I'm like, wow, that is the miracle of the human body. So 60 years old right here, 60 years old. And she said there's really no recovery. She has kind of like a CrossFit workout that she does at her gym, and 6 days a week at 60 years old. I picked up motocross after being on the product for 2 years. You know, when you feed your body nutritionally, it's kind of like going to the gym. It incrementally gets stronger and stronger while your body continually is healing itself when it can, and it does it incrementally. And after about 2 years, I'm thinking, why are I riding motocross? I feel like I should. I hadn't ridden a dirt bike in 25 years, and I wasn't looking for ways to ride a dirt bike. I'd forgotten about them. But at 46 years old, I picked up motocross, and it's a blast, and I fell in love with it. It's a bucket list that I got to check off. And I noticed on the motocross track, I was outperforming teenagers endurance-wise. They would get off the track and rest, and I'd keep going. And then I actually talked the track owner into letting me go when they were closed. So I'd go 2, 3, 4 days in a row, not even getting sore like Jill. And I started beating teenagers in races. I took a 3rd place. Lenny, you were at that first race I did. And then I took a 2nd place. And then the day before the 3rd race, I shattered this leg. Like it literally exploded the bone. The doctor was there. He fixed this leg, but he said, I can't touch that. There's only about 6 doctors in this country that can. And we have one that lives here, but he's in another state right now. So I bolted this to your bones. This is called an external fixator, so the pieces don't move around. I had it on for about 10 days. And then the surgery was done. I was in bed for 6 weeks, and I continued to take my isogenesis. I told the doctor, I said, have you heard of telomeres? And I can't remember what he said. I think he said, I think so. And so I said, well, we got a supplement that is really supporting telomeres. And I've seen some amazing things happening to people who not have only had surgery, but that have had trauma like 10, 20, 30 years ago. And, you know, the body is course correcting. And I said, people are healing a lot faster. And he said, let me show you your bone. And he showed me the x-ray in the computer. He said, it could take up to a year before you stand on your leg, just with all of your weight, just stand on it, and you'll never run again. Exact words. And I was just thinking, we'll see about that. I only went back to see him twice. I was off of my feet for 10 weeks. 2 weeks later, I ran stadiums. I was only on my feet for 2 weeks. And Lenny, you were there when we did this too. Carrie's videoing me with the camera on the phone. And Lenny was standing right over here. And I didn't know if I was going to be able to go all the way up and down, but I did. At home, I wasn't having any issues, no discomfort, nothing in the leg. Even though it was still healing, there was no pain. And I ran all the way up and all the way down. And a PA for an orthopedic surgeon said, that's impossible for a pilon fracture. There's no way those little pieces could heal up that quickly to take that kind of pounding in 3 months. And she said, you weren't on your feet for 10 weeks, right? And this is 2 weeks later. I said, exactly, almost to the day. She said, look, you don't even have any muscle atrophy in your calf. Your muscle continued to maintain its muscle expression. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's cool. I'll tell people about that. And she ended up getting on the product. She's a PA for an orthopedic surgeon. I've had PTs tell me, no, with a pilon fracture, there's no way. And Dave, you walk like there's nothing even wrong. And I said, there isn't anything wrong. It's like it never happened. I do toe raises with the same weight that I did before. I can do lunges. I have the same rotation, everything. So it's been a great blessing for so many people that have had trauma. Kathy, I love when they post these pictures on Facebook because it just creates a whole ruckus and all kinds of comments. And there was naysayers, and Kathy came into the conversation and said, yeah, that's me at Fitness America in Las Vegas at 69 years old. I just turned 70 in May. So there she is at 60. I'd say 69 is looking more like about the new 35, right? Pretty awesome. Chantel, she was having such a hard time sleeping at night. You know, she bought a new mattress. She says, I have so many pillows just to try to adjust me so I can fall asleep. And it got to the point where she couldn't get any sleep, like zero. And could you imagine that, raising 3 kids? And now she is hiking, she's boating, she's horseback riding. In fact, she's even helping her husband lay flooring. I have a picture of her with a nail gun down on the floor. I don't know any more back-breaking job than laying flooring, but there's no way she could have done that before. So, you know, nutrition plays a huge role in the quality of our lives. We know that. And now we know something very unique about this nutrition and how it's supporting the human body. So do you want long telomeres or short telomeres? I mean, that's pretty much the long and short of it, right? Hopefully you say long telomeres, Bill says when telomeres get short, bad things happen because all of the bad things are related to telomeres. That's Nobel Prize winning research. And I like how Jill Boeing says it. She says, do you want long telomeres or short? Oh, wait, do you even know what a telomere is? Maybe we ought to start there. Have you ever seen a plastic tip on a shoestring, right? Have that conversation. And then send them to foreverpack.com where they could watch this presentation in 22 minutes. That went viral, about 20,000 views in just 4 months. And it's getting people the information 24/7. You have access to it. Foreverpack.com, P-A-K. Dr. Plant joined our company just recently. He was the #1 top of his class from Harvard Medical School. Graduated top of the class. He joined Isagenix. He's the CEO now. I think that's right, the CEO, right? And that's a clue. He said, I could have gone anywhere, you guys, and I could have made a lot more money going somewhere else. But what I realize is the miracle of the human body, and we have to teach people how to support that because it can change things. It can change the direction that they're going, and nobody's doing it better than Isagenix, not even close. And we have clinical studies around our products that have ended up in peer-reviewed medical journals like PubMed. It's blowing their minds what we're doing. And this is what he said the other day on a Zoom. 85 to 90% of deadly and gruesome diseases are due to lifestyle choices we could have made differently while we were alive and healthy. Now that's true. And there's a little clause, let's put a little asterisk in there. They can only make the choice if they know about it. That's what Paul Zane Pilzer said is the opportunity for people who want to be entrepreneurial. You let somebody know about something that they don't know exists yet. You guys, you're the pre early adopters. There's people in our company that don't know this exists. They asked me to do this presentation at our celebration last week, 15,000 people at the celebration. And it went out of stock. They sold out of this product in the store by the next morning when I did the presentation that night, the night before. That was because there were people that didn't know what this was. And then I shared this presentation and now they knew what it was. And they made the right choice. They made a choice that they could now make based on being educated. And that's what Paul Zane Pilzer, Nobel Prize winning economist, said. Just educate people. It could really bless your life financially. So Dr. Plant, he's like Superman. I have a man crush on Dr. Plant. He is such a cool guy. So I just want to hit this last part right here because this is the Forever Pack. You are what you eat. Everybody knows it. And unfortunately, what we're eating today is the problem. And can replacing one meal change your life? And it's a resounding yes, if it's that meal right there. All I have to say is, look, the mind that made this is the same mind that made this. That ought to be enough said after going through the science of this. But there's just, it takes 90 nutrients to get to homeostasis, get your body alkaline. Inside the cells is what matters. A lot of people are, I'm going to say, yeah, I drink alkaline water, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's getting in intracellularly, right? And this is getting assimilated. We have clinicals on both of these products about them being assimilated and the results that are happening because of that. So 90 nutrients, most of them are minerals, 60 of them, and they're depleted from our soil. One bowl of spinach in the 1950s used to give you enough iron. In 2017, it takes 51 bowls of spinach, according to UCLA, and spinach being grown in the US. And it's not just iron and it's not just spinach. And eating organic, that's better, but it's not good enough. They're not finding any more minerals in the organic than they are the non-organic. And thank you, John Anderson, for searching around the world and learning how to find these nutrients that are the highest quality. And then we inspect them every time they're dropped off, every time. And we inspect them for contamination. Read the studies on contamination in shakes out there. It will blow your minds that they have cadmium, mercury, lead, and arsenic in almost all of them that they checked. Even in the plant-based, they're finding a lot of arsenic. And we source our ingredients from places that don't have that stuff. And we inspect them every time they're dropped off. And every batch that when it's completed, we make sure that it has what it says it has in it. And that's not highly regulated, you guys. There could be less than 10% in it, and that's still cool. No, it's not cool. So thank you, John Anderson, for making a complete source. There's over 200 nutrients in this, by the way, and it's enzyme active. That's the key, getting it assimilated. John's the only formulator that figured out how to freeze-dry digestive enzymes in the way that he does it. And it's waking people up, and it's giving them the isoglow. So we're hitting the core foundation, and then we're backing it because you are what you eat. All of us are going to eat every day. So Isogenics has caught on to the movement that this pack is having. It's gone viral. On a small scale, I would say it's a critical mass on a small scale within the company. So many people are introducing it this way because it's easy to understand. It's simple to do. It's affordable. Not only is it affordable, you will find that you save money because your appetite changes, because your alkalinity goes up. You stop snacking on all the garbage because alkaline bodies don't like acidic foods. So it's affordable. You'll actually save money. It produces unprecedented results that are Nobel Prize worthy. That's what me and Bill believe, and I'm sure a lot of you as well that have been sharing it. It's very shareable. So easy to share, and you can just send them foreverpack.com and then call them back and say, what flavors do you want? So simplicity has never been so profound, you guys. And the company not only put it together as a pack for us, they put a promotion, and the promotion is called Eat for Free. And we can literally say that legally, because with this promotion, you eat for free. In fact, you make a little bit of a profit. Very simply. I believe that this will be the single greatest promotion in sales that we've ever seen in any industry. Any industry. It's already shaping up to be that. And there's so many dynamics that are in place. It's divine, you guys. This is bringing heaven to earth, because heaven to earth is about what's going on inside you and how that's showing up and coming out of you. That's what makes heaven, is the people's attitude and their outlook and how they look at themselves and other people, how they feel, right? And attitude determines altitude. It's got to have something to do with heaven. So I believe that this does that in a way that it's a spiritual movement as far as I'm concerned. And there's so many dynamics that are in place to just, do something that's unprecedented. And so when you enroll with the Forever Pack, a brand new customer, every brand new customer gets 2 free memberships for 2 people that they enroll. That's key, because once you enroll 2 people who will use the Forever Pack every month, you can earn 6% on every order from everybody. That happens through word of mouth. Everybody, they pay you 6% on everybody. On every order, every reorder, not just on the people you enroll, on everybody. And so me and my wife were named the 69th millionaires in the company, and we've earned $10 million now through that 6%. And I don't say that because, money's everything. It's a result. It's a result of helping and creating progress in other people's lives, helping them to get the results that they're looking for. That's what drives me. So when you share it with 2 people, they don't pay for their membership. So we waive the $29 membership. And then once you do that, they start with the Forever Pack, you get a $170 bonus. They give you 30 days to do that. So a brand new person coming in gets 30 days, and they can enroll 2 people, no membership. They're just going to pay the $164 like you did for the product, and you get $170. Now, the company didn't stop there. They're very smart. They know when they see a good thing happening, they're going to promote it. Every company has promotions, and they invest in those promotions hoping to get a return. Well, these people, if you take the time and you teach them, they could get their products paid for too. Now, there's an incentive behind that for you. First of all, we should do it anyways. Like Paul said, be about doing much good, right? Talk about things that are good, lovely, praiseworthy, a good report. That's all this is. So as we're helping people and getting that $170 through our efforts of helping them to do that, showing them, they don't learn it by osmosis. So it's going to take some time, energy, and effort from you. When they do that, the company didn't stop there. They're going to give you another $450 bonus for a bonus of $620 when you paid $164 for the product. Can these people do that? Yeah. If they help these people, take the time, effort, and energy, teach them how to get their 170, this person just made $620. This person just made $620. That's a good 3 months worth and a little change left over of your Forever Pack being paid for. Now, that's feeding a person a fish for a day, right? That you're going to blow through that in 3 months. But what about the 6%? If these people do it right here, which they were added to your group, that's 6%. You're going to get paid on their orders. 6% on the total BV from the entire organization. Well, if they do it, that's 8 people they're going to be adding. I'm still getting paid 6% from customers I enrolled 14 years ago. There's over 321,000 people in my organization, right? It's called beach money. They're ordering it from the company. It ships right to them, and I'm getting paid every week. It freed us up to do the things that people want to do in their lives, to have the choices they want to make and do the things that they dreamed of doing. I just flew my daughter and her family in from Kenya. We flew my other daughter home from Boston at the university in Berkeley where she's dancing. And we're all going to Disneyland. And we got 4 rooms at the hotel, all covered by Dave and Carrie, for the entire family. I don't have to worry about the finances. It's not going to go on credit cards and then have to pay that back somehow or work extra hours. I'll probably make more money than I spent while we're at Disneyland. So it's just an awesome, awesome way that it's possible of living for everybody. It's an equal opportunity for everybody. Everybody gets paid 6% on everybody once you've enrolled 2 people. So this $170 is self-perpetuating the 6% through very minimal effort. Let your money work for you. That's what smart people do. Don't trade time for money. Create leverage and let the money work for you and the leverage. So you don't have to participate in any of that if you don't want to, but I don't know who wouldn't want to eat for free based on helping other people. This is the solutions they're looking for. I mean, Dr. Plant joined our company. If that isn't permission to go ahead and share it with somebody, I don't know what is. Well, and on top of that, all the science. So you guys, thank you for allowing me to share that with you. This is my passion, and it's so many other people's passions, and we're locking arms together, and it's a win-win-win. There's so many wins in this. I mean, just the cost of medical and health care, the preventative and all of that could eliminate. Just think of that alone. If your body's healing itself, we stopped the doctor visits when we started putting this in our kids. Just that alone. But there's so many other things that are added bonuses to that. So again, thank you for allowing me to share that with you. Henry Ford says, successful people make decisions quickly, and then they change their mind slowly. Unsuccessful people rationalize the decision that they knew they should have made, and they never make it. And therefore, they never get the results of making that decision. It's all cause and effect. It's a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Plus, you could get paid for sharing it with people. So what could be better than that? Well, what could be better than impacting the person's health that you shared it with? I don't remember how much I made 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 2 years ago, but I absolutely remember the results for the last 14 years that people have had. That never goes away. So with that, Lenny, Laura, what a movement we have going. It's just amazing to be a part of this and create this kind of ripple effect in the world that is truly transforming people's lives. So either of you want to share anything? And Jojo, we got a lot of people's ears right now, and just so grateful for you guys checking in. And
I just, on behalf of everyone who cannot unmute, I want to thank you, Dave, for literally blitzing this out the last 2 days, presentation after presentation. It's such unbelievable information. I just had this on for our entire family dinner. So even our children are now internalizing this incredible information. And guys, this is just a legacy. So thank you for being here. If this is your first time listening to this information, just like Dave said, don't hesitate. Your heart already knows. Okay, your brain wants to justify it with logic. Allow it to justify it with the logic of the science that you just saw, but allow your heart to be pulled in the direction of, where you want to truly desire your health for yourself and your family to go in. So thank you, everybody, for participating. I appreciate all the information, Dave. Thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Lenny.
And Dave, I just want to say thank you again. That was out of 5,000 meetings. That was the best one I've ever seen right there. I'm so excited. It keeps getting better. And August 25th, start inviting people right now to your home next Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific time to have a Forever Pack party in your home. You can do T-bones, tacos. You could do tri-tip. You can do all kinds of different things with telomeres, right? I mean, just get the people to watch this message. Dave, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, did you say tater tots and telomeres earlier?
No.
Dr. D, Lisa, you guys, I mean, it's just an honor to have you guys on here. And, you know, you put this into your practice and you saw the results and the value that your patients were getting out of it. But you guys want to add anything?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Dave, you came out 8 years ago, 9 years ago, and did the first presentation in our clinic. You know, we gathered about 55 people, and you launched us, man. There's been two added, the two times that we've added something into our practice that's changed our practice dramatically. One is a piece of technology for nerve injuries and disc injuries, and the other was isogenic.
I'm the other.
That's three things, Lisa.
Three things. In what order? So with isogenics, and
That's a powerful statement.
Oh, it's you know, it's I wish I could say it's me that's healing people. It's not. It's not. We have a great program, but if the cells do not get fundamental nutrients, they will not heal at the capacity that they can heal. And that was the missing link. And I've done nutrition before with our patients, and we've had some good companies with some good products, but never have I seen results like this so quickly. And we used to test blood and test urine, and you know, it's amazing to be able to see someone's inside and see them changing. I'm trying to say this compliantly, their health coming back. And it's now not an option, it's mandatory. And we made that decision many years ago because it was so profound. The patients that did it got far different results than the patients that didn't consume this nutrition. And so we just said, why are we going to give someone 80% of something that works? This is the program. You're coming to us to get better. Here it is. And I'll tell you, I wish I could speak about the things that we see in a compliant manner. It's just use your imagination a little bit. And every single physician, practitioner, chiropractor, physical therapist, nutritionist, they need to know about this. If you're not talking to them about this, they have a practice that's a little bit here, and you can bring their practice up here. Honestly, that's really what it's done on so many levels. And there's so many things I want to talk about, but
I just got chills. I think you did it. I think that's a good note to end on. That was very powerful, very well said. And wow, the chills are still going. So with that, you guys, we'll do this again next Sunday. What did I say? 3:00 Pacific time. And then we'll do it again next Monday right here at this time. So love you guys. Thank you. Let's go out and make a difference in the world. You know, really get into that service mode. You know, the pathway to greatness is through the service to many. And it just lights you up. It gets you out of bed. It gives you that purpose-driven life when you put other people first. And then so much comes back to you, where you can start having this quality of life that Zig Ziglar talks about, the more you help other people, right? So with that, thank you everybody for participating. You all made a difference tonight, and we'll see you next Sunday. Bye, everybody. Have a great night.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you, Dave.